Our next member of Congress to address us is a member of the House Armed Services Committee and the House Homeland Security Committee, but you should know two very important things. One is that she has been a very strong supporter of our community. Two is that she may well be the next senator from California, Congresswoman Loretta Sanchez.
And good morning, and it's great to be here, and it's great to see the turnout from my colleagues here, both from Orange County, Ed Royce, who's the chairman, of course, of Foreign Relations, my good friend Chris Smith, who works on human rights, and I work a lot on human rights, so we work together. And of course, I would be remiss not to point out Gus Bilirakis, who the last time I went to Greece, I think we were together in some of those meetings, and we worked together quite a bit, especially with our Orange County Hellenic community, and also, of course, the greater Los Angeles community. So I want to thank those who are here from California in particular, because it's a long way to come, but this is important to do. It is important that your faces are here in Washington, D.C. It is important that you talk to our colleagues. Think about this. We are generalists. Yesterday, we were doing marijuana votes. Okay? Today, we'll do some other type of vote. And there's not an ability for us to know everything that is going on and be experts on each and every issue. And we depend on our good friends, our other colleagues, to tell us what's going on in their committee, what's coming in front of the Congress, and to help us decide how we will cast our votes. I sit on the Armed Services Committee. I'm number 2 for the Democrats. I've sat on that committee for 20 years. And in that role, for example, I am the voting member in the NATO Parliament for the United States. I cast the votes with respect to that body, which means I spend a lot of time with our NATO members. Now, it's always interesting, isn't it? Because everybody runs around. I mean, we can see what has happened in Turkey in the last few years. And everybody runs around and says, oh my God, but you know, Turkey, we need them, they're a NATO member. And I was like, well, what about Greece? What about Greece? We need to do this the right way. We need to understand what's going on. In the last trip that we took to Greece together, one of the places we went was to Suda Bay. You know, the Hellenic community, both Cyprus and Greece, everybody there plays an important role at what is happening right now. And they're coming from both fronts. We sit there with Suda Bay in front of the mouth to go into the Black Sea with issues of Putin and everything going on over there, which we need to worry about as a unified Europe and as a NATO and as a peace-loving set of countries. And then the threat from the south with ISIS is a major, major problem in which this community plays an important role for us to ensure that peace is not just in the Middle East, not just in the Mediterranean, but in the world and for Americans. You play an important role as the community that comes to Congress to talk about these issues. And lastly, let me say, with the energy resources, with respect to Cyprus, there will be even bigger battles and decisions and geopolitical concerns. And more than ever before, you need to be a voice, not just to those of us who in Orange County work with our community, in the greater Los Angeles work with our community, in Florida and New Jersey work with our community, but also as a voice to go around to the rest of the Congress people to help them to understand the importance of a united Cyprus. That's what I wish for. Thank you.
Now that we have all the organizations, particularly I wanted to do Michael, who comes from Orange County and heads up the American Hellenic Council. But it's interesting that you said you sit on the NATO. For the past 41 years, the so-called reliable ally of the United States, Turkey, that maintains 800,000 troops in NATO, has been occupying the northern part of Cyprus. We have been trying very hard to get the Turkish troops out. We have not been successful. The Republic of Cyprus today, along with Israel, are the best allies of the United States of America, strategic allies. And this conference today, we are stressing how important it is for the Republic of Cyprus to be united and to be an ally of the United States. So,
Believe me, I am the voice in that NATO parliament to talk about why Greece and Cyprus are so important to the unity and the security of our world.
Kalimara. Good morning, everybody. I do want to share with you that Gus Bilirakis and David Cicilline did move an amendment into the NDAA bill, which attempts to move us in this direction of getting that embargo on Cyprus lifted. I want to thank him for that. I signed off on that. We put it through our committee. But as we move forward, I think this is a moment of opportunity as we talk about Cyprus for a minute. I shared with Andy before my trip up into northern Cyprus and the feedback that I got from Turkish Cypriots about their feelings of being an occupied country and how they felt their culture was akin to Cypriot Greek culture. We have the same culture, they said. And the culture that's being imposed upon us, what we're seeing is not our culture. And increasingly, you know, I saw it when I was there, but increasingly you see it now with the new Turkish Cypriot leader. You see his commentary on this. Mustafa Ankinci, if you saw his comment, he said, no, this relationship, look at the way Turkey treats us. It's as though it's a relationship of mother and child. It should be brother to brother. And what was the comment back from Erdogan's comments back? He says, no, we pay in the budget, we made the sacrifices, the relationship is the relationship of a child. Well, what has happened is that now the Turkish Cypriot leader has taken these steps, lifting the visa for those to come across that line that I remember crossing only too well with all of the barbed wire. Now he is opening up all along the border points for crossings. Now he is opening up for electricity, the sharing of electricity. And the cell phone grids, these are being put on a common platform. He is moving in this direction. And now is the time for the administration, and this is why we have to be focused on this. Now is the time for our administration to say, do not stand in the way. Allow the Greek Cypriots and the Turkish Cypriots to have their conversations, to have their reconciliations. Let's not have demands placed into this by Turkey. That is a simple thing for us to do. That is absolutely a necessary thing right now for us to do. We've got to keep our focus on getting this message to the administration and making certain that the administration understands we have an opportunity to move this forward after so many years of focusing on this. But it's going to come only as a result of us raising this repeatedly. And this is why Gus and I and the other members that are focused on this, and indeed all members of Congress need to be focused on this, need to do this now, because we can now make those steps forward. In the meantime, I won't speak long here today, but in the meantime, there are many steps that we need to telegraph right now our support to Cyprus, frankly, and to Greece, that we need to take during some pretty difficult times. But we need to keep in mind the long memory of our relationship with Athens and the long memory of our relationship with Nicosia. And we will do that, and we're proud of you staying involved as well. And I wanted to relate that as well. I think you, as Greek Americans, as Cypriot Americans, are showing an understanding that in this democracy, as powerful as the United States is on the world stage, if we can all stay engaged and keep pushing, the day will come when we see justice in terms of the Cypriot cause. Thank you very much.
Good morning, everybody. It's a privilege to be here. First of all, let me thank Andy and Mike and Phil and all of the leadership of this community of advocates who for decades has waged this battle to free Cyprus from the division that was imposed upon it by the Turks more than 40 years ago. Let me also salute Gus Bilirakis. We've been teammates on these issues ever since we arrived here a number of years ago now. We're starting to get a little bit of tenure and a little bit of gray hair to go with it. But Gus is a real leader in so many ways, as you know, and as has already been alluded to today. And I want to thank, and I know Gus will do the same, but I want to thank our colleagues in Congress. They don't necessarily come with the same stake in the issues in terms of being directly connected to the Greek heritage or Cypriot heritage, but they come with equal passion for justice. And when you look at the situation in Cyprus, you know that there is great injustice there. That's why this group of leaders, led by Phil and others, have stuck with this issue for so long. And we really appreciate that. That represents incredible emotional and psychological stamina. And it's why when these new opportunities present themselves, we have some cautious optimism that progress can be made. Now, we're seeing that opportunity today, as many have indicated. The new leader of the Turkish Cypriots seems predisposed to open a more honest and candid conversation and has already taken significant steps in that direction. And of course, President Anastasiades from the Greek Cypriot side is embracing every opportunity to make progress. And I want to thank, we have some mayors and others, representatives here from Cyprus for their continuing struggle on this issue. So we have some reason to be cautiously optimistic, but caution is the watchword always with Cyprus, because so many things have to come together to achieve a just solution. And in many ways, it continues to be the case that Turkey itself is the linchpin here. Will Turkey allow this conversation to proceed in a constructive way? Will they allow for self-determination? Our country, the United States of America, and really every free country in the world, if you look at history, comes from the fundamental principle of self-determination. The statements of the new Turkish Cypriot leader and the statements in response by Prime Minister Erdogan, or President Erdogan, demonstrate that if the Cypriot community, Turkish and Greek, were allowed to self-determine their future, they would reach a just solution. But it is Turkey that is standing in the way of that self-determination. And I don't know how many times Turkey needs to fail the United States when it comes to reasonable expectations that we should have of an ally before we will, in a clear-eyed manner, understand that we have to push significantly on Turkey and its leadership to do the right thing, not just with respect to Cyprus, but in many other issues. And so that becomes the central question now as we move forward, as we probe this new opportunity that is presented to us. Will the United States government bring to bear the kind of pressure on Turkey to do the right thing and allow the Turkish Cypriots and the Greek Cypriots to reach a just and self-determined resolution for the island of Cyprus? That is our expectation. It is a reasonable and fair expectation to have, and I'm confident that for as long as it takes for us to achieve that solution, this group of advocates who pushed so hard for 4 decades now will be there keeping us strong. Thank you for the wonderful work that you do every single day.
Congresswoman Kelly, she's been one of the newest members of Congress, has been here ever since she came in as a special election, but it also is proof of what we should be doing as a community. Before she ran for Congress, she was a friend of our community. She encouraged this young 29-year-old back in 2006 to run for state treasurer, was the first elected official to stand up with him, so you can thank or blame her for Alexi Janulius. Then the year after, there was another person you've known who's been here. She was a state prosecutor that couldn't get over the hump and get elected judge, and Robin Kelly stood up next to Anna Demokopoulos. So Robin Kelly's responsible for at least 2 elected Greeks. She's engaged as a state rep, as in and out of the office. She's been a great friend, and now she's on the Foreign Affairs Committee. So she's a superstar in Illinois, and she won't reveal her intentions, but she's always mentioned in the Senate race. So, she's a great friend, and we're lucky to have her.
Thank you so much. I told him to be short and sweet, but I am the Congresswoman from Chicago. I represent the 2nd Congressional District. I'm originally from New York, so I represent or have been involved with the 2 biggest Greek populations. I am on the Foreign Affairs Committee, and I'm on the subcommittee of Western Hemisphere, and actually it's a great honor for me to be on that committee. People talked about Chairman Royce. He is fantastic, and Ranking Member Elliot Engel. The committee works great together, and it's an honor, Chairman Royce, I know you're still back there, for me to be on the committee. And I know our committee is working on Cyprus, and I know a lot of people are optimistic about peace, but just remember it has to be the right peace. It can't be a Band-Aid, and it needs to be long-lasting peace. But I look forward to working with your community. It's an honor. I became Alexi Janulius's chief of staff for 4 years, so I worked very, very close with the Greek community. So thank you so much for all of your support, and I look forward to working with you. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. It's great to be here with you. As you know, my husband did run for the presidency of the United States in 1991-92. I think the remarkable part of his story is that he was a first-generation American who was able to rise to that level and run for the presidency of the United States, and I think changed the course of our country's future despite not being successful. But I also remember in 1992 his attending a rally in Manhattan to address the issue of Cyprus and the reunification of Cyprus. So obviously this is an issue that has been too long in the forefront, and obviously one in which we in Congress have to continue to maintain the pressure to finally bring this to some resolution. And we do that in little ways and large. I think most recently last fall, when there was a challenge to the natural resources at our Cypruses, we made the strong case working together through the Hellenic Caucus with Gus Bilirakis and John Sarbanes, who provide such leadership on this issue for all of Congress, to really challenge our administration to take the Turkish moves quite seriously. And I think we also are very mindful today of what's happening as Greece tries to renegotiate better terms. We've all monitored the deep impact on the country, the way in which too many Greek citizens are struggling with the hardships that have been imposed. I think we know what's at stake, not just for the country of Greece, but also for the European Union, and I think we remain very hopeful that they can come to terms sooner rather than later, given how much is at stake. So I look forward to continuing to work with all of you. It's so true, you've heard it from a number of us, that we welcome your trips, your annual and biannual trips to Washington, to continue to articulate and keep at the forefront of these issues, because as you heard Congresswoman Sanchez say, we deal with so many different issues, and absent that kind of determination and focus, some of these things can get lost in the fray. So it's always great to be part of your discussions, always great to work with you, and I look forward to continuing to do that. Thank you very much.
He's the co-founder of the Congressional Hellenic Israel Alliance and a member of Congress from Florida, Congressman Gus Bilirakis. Gus?
Thank you so very much. I appreciate it. I don't want to take too much time because I know there are other members of Congress that want to speak. I know Dina's back there as well, and I know we have votes. But you are family. You're doing a wonderful job. You know where my heart is, and I always will fight for Cyprus and of course our Alada as well. But I was in Cyprus. I see the mayor here from Augusta in October. And he reconnected me with my father's family, who's from Cyprus originally, Skervos Sigiotis, and I tell you, I'm indebted to you forever for that. We had, at the time that I was there, it was a good time for me to be there, because, as you know, the Turks invaded that exclusive economic zone, and I spoke up about that in the Foreign Affairs Committee a couple of years ago. The Turkey has no right, as you know, to intervene when we have a bilateral agreement between Cyprus and Israel with regard to the exclusive economic zone. And the State Department, when Turkey did invade, the State Department issued a very weak statement. And because I was there representing the United States of America, I strengthened that statement on my own, calling it illegal. The State Department called it inappropriate. But I also will tell you that we need to put pressure, of course, on the administration. And we hear about this all the time, but this is a good time, an opportune time for the administration to tell Turkey to stay the hell out of the negotiations. Because so in any case, as you know, I will always be there for you. And this amendment, Mr. Cicilline in the back here, I don't know if you got a chance to speak, but he's a real leader on our issues, and we've made some real progress here in the House. Ed Royce, by the way, is outstanding. He doesn't hedge. He knows the issues. He's extremely educated, as was Ileana on our particular issues. And, you know, we've got some great leaders on our side. This is a wonderful time because of you, because you've persevered over the years. We're going to get this done. We're going to get this done for our beloved Kipro and our beloved Cypriot Americans and Greek Americans throughout the world. Σας ευχαριστούμε τόσο πολύ for hanging in there. God bless you, and I'll always be there for you. You know that. Thank you.
We're very grateful to Congressman Cicilline.
Good morning. I am delighted to be here. Thank you for that nice introduction. And, you know, I'm sort of fairly new to Congress, but got my early training on issues important to the Greek community from the Panichas family, from the late George Panichas, who many of you know, and tutored me as a state legislator on these issues, and now I have the privilege of a Chief of Staff, Peter Karafotis, who makes sure that I understand these issues well. But this, yeah, he deserves his own round of applause. But this is, I know, first I want to say thank you for the work that you do, because this has been a passion and a love and a commitment of everyone in this room for a very long time. So thank you for what you're doing. It is making a real difference. I'm very optimistic that we will get to the day when there is real reconciliation, and we have to do everything that we can to support that process and to ensure that we keep Turkey at bay and not have them continue to meddle not only in Cyprus but in that region in unproductive ways. And I'm committed to doing everything I can to support that process. As was just mentioned, I think sending strong messages about our support of Cyprus by ending the arms embargo is one of the important first steps to really fortify this negotiation process. But we should be looking for ways to be certain that everyone understands our interest, the interest of the United States in unification, reconciliation, and we'll do everything I can to support that process as a member of the Foreign Affairs Committee. Thank you.
From Nevada, Congresswoman Dina Titus.
Well, Well, thank you very much for having me. You know, when the MANATOS boys call, I'm always there. So thank you very much for putting this together. I'm delighted to be here. I'm the only Greek-American woman in Congress, and I wear that badge very proudly. So thank you for helping me get to Congress. You know, you can always count on me. You have heard the issues outlined by John Sarbanes, who is a great leader, and Gus and Nikki. We are quite a tight-knit group, and we fight very hard for the issues of Cyprus and for Greece. If there is ever a resolution or a holiday or a bill or an effort to contact the president and put our 2 cents in, we certainly do that. We're very proud to do that. I represent Las Vegas. I know Greeks don't like to gamble, but in case you change your mind, you can come and see me. The Las Vegas Strip is in my district, so you're always welcome there, and I look forward to having you. I know there are going to be some big meetings there. I also want to tell you that I was humbled to receive the Barbed Wire Award from this organization, and it is very proudly displayed in my office. And David Rosenbaum, who you've worked with, was able to visit Cyprus and walk the Green Line, and so he was able to see firsthand the issues that mean so much to me. Mainly, I want to thank you, though, for being here and doing this. I think this is the 31st anniversary, but it is really critical that you are here and look people in the eye and make your presence known, because I can tell you that representatives from Turkey are everywhere, and they are courting people, and they are leaving gifts, and they are inviting people to come and visit. So they are very much a lobbying presence here. So having you to counter that means quite a lot. So thank you for coming. Thank you for helping us to get this message out and have a strong presence. And I'll look for you on the Las Vegas Strip anytime you want to come. Thank you so much.
He's currently Vice Chairman of the House Democratic Caucus from New York, Congressman Joe Crowley.
Thanks to the entire, Phil, they didn't tell me you were coming. I didn't know. Dennis, how are you? Good to see you. The whole New York crowd is here. Let me just first thank the MANATOS family for what they do, for all the issues relating to Cyprus here on the Hill. They're a known entity on both sides of the aisle. Do a great job of really representing the interests of the people of Cyprus, as well as Greek Cypriots here in the United States. I just want to say, I won't speak long because I know that you've had a number of members come in and they're going to call votes momentarily. But let me just say this, that the invasion of a country, whether it was in the 20th century or the 21st century, is unacceptable. And simply because of a matter of time, some 40 years have passed, doesn't mean that it's acceptable now, but all of a sudden that's an irrelevant part of history. The invasion did occur, it did happen, the partition of the island did take place. They can try to revise history as much as they want, and unfortunately I see a trend within the broader Turkish community of attempting to revise history, not only as it pertains to Cyprus, but as it pertains to Armenia and other issues as well. And that's kind of a telling tale, I think, of the approach that's being taken. And so I will not fall for that. It was illegal for what the Turks did in Cyprus, as it is illegal what the Russians are doing today. It ought not to have been tolerated in the 20th century, and we can't let it be tolerated in the 21st century as well. So I am with you. I was with you 29 years ago when I started elected office, 17 years ago when I started in Congress, and I'm there today. Despite the efforts, as Dina has mentioned, on the other side, really an all-out, in so many ways, trying to influence members of the House. They can try, but they're not going to influence me. It's not doable. By the way, Phil Christopher would never let that happen anyway. It's impossible. No with Dennis. Dennis wouldn't let, oh, here he is. He's moving sides of me here. But thank you all for having me. Thank you very much.
As everybody knows, this is a great friend of ours, Congressman Brad Sherman from Sherman Oaks, California, a well-named location.
Thank you. We have votes in just a few minutes. It is good to be back. I'm with you 100%. Thank you. Obviously, we need for the State Department to have a Special Envoy for Religious Minorities in the Middle East. We've got to pressure Turkey to return the church property and to respect the ecumenical patriarchate. We can never accept the idea of a border in Europe, in the island of Cyprus, being drawn by military might. And there is nothing more outrageous than Turkey saying that the natural gas resources off the southern coast of Cyprus are somehow subject to their jurisdiction. So they simultaneously claim to have separated Cyprus and to have unified Cyprus under their separated control. This is not only insane, it is bad energy policy. And oh, by the way, you've got some friends in Israel who disagree with this insane policy as well. I remember talking to some of my pro-Israel friends when I first got elected to Congress, and they said, Sherman, we've got these overflights over Turkey, we've got this over Turkey, be nice. I said, gentlemen, you've got it all wrong. Mark my words. Could have said just mark my one word, Erdogan. So I could go on and on from FIROM to the visa waiver program, but I think I've got to go to the floor and cast a vote. And I look forward to working with MANATOS and MANATOS, and they just tell me what to do next. Thank you.
But he is also, with Gus Bilirakis, the co-chairman of the Hellenic Israel Alliance, and that is Congressman Ted Deutsch of Florida. Ted?
Thanks. Morning, everyone. How's the conference been? How's the meeting? Welcome to Washington. I apologize. Congressman Sherman points out they just called votes, so I only have a minute, but I'm glad I could be here. I just wanted to make a couple of observations. One, I want to thank, in front of this group, and I have a lot of friends and people have heard me do this before, but I want to talk about how privileged I am to work with this group of leaders, but especially to work with the real leader and mentor for me on so many of the issues that I work on in Gus Bilirakis, my co-chair for the Congressional Hellenic Israel Alliance. What we've tried to do to focus on the Eastern Med opportunities for the entire region, for Israel, for Greece, and for Cyprus, I think is going to pay big dividends. It's been very helpful as we've gone forward, highlighting information that unfortunately doesn't always get out there. So I wanted to thank him. Let me just make this point. This is, as I've heard now repeatedly, in many ways the most optimistic that we've been in 41 years about the possible reunification of Cyprus. But along the way, we have to continue to do a few things. We have to continue to ensure that Turkey is held accountable for any provocations, and we have to make sure that when there is a resolution, a successful outcome to negotiations, that it is ultimately an agreement that is reached by the Cypriots for the Cypriots. That's the approach that we have to take. It is one that I think it's the only way, I believe, that we can reach a just and viable solution. And my hope is, and I'm always privileged to spend time with you, but my hope is that at the next meeting, or certainly at a meeting very soon, rather than talk about our hopes for a reunified Cyprus and whether or not we can achieve a just settlement, my hope is that we'll actually be able to come together to celebrate that reunification of Cyprus. It's something that I know we all want, and it's something that I strive for, and my colleagues here on Capitol Hill understand deeply. Thank you very much for giving me the chance to say hello to Andy. I'll also take advantage to thank you for your leadership. And you have an announcement?
No, I want to bring the Florida delegation
Okay.
that honored you last year in absentia. because you couldn't make it, and but let's bring the Florida delegation here.
No, that's so great, thanks.
You and Gasparakis
Yeah,
for
of
your,
course.
you were
Thank you.
honored by our association down in Florida.
And I couldn't make it up.
Yeah.
I know, thanks.
For your initiative to form the Alliance.
It's a pleasure.
Sorry we missed you, man.
Me too, but it's so great to see you here. Thanks.
Gasparakis here or no? Come on, ladies and gentlemen, welcome the chairman of AHEPA, president of the Cyprus Chamber of Commerce, Nicholas Karagostas.
Thank you, Philip. Good morning, everybody. Today I'm here on behalf of two very prominent organizations, the AHEPA, that most of you know has 90 years of history, and also the Cyprus U.S. Chamber of Commerce that has about 10 years of history, thanks to our chairman emeritus, Andreas Komodoromos. On behalf of the Chamber, I'd like to offer you our support. We stand side by side with what Philip Christopher and Pseka is doing with regards to the cause of finally, hopefully one day, seeing a free Cyprus. Not only we donate money, but we're here with a number of members in our youth organization so that we can show the support that many of us are concerned, because we kind of see it dwindling after 41 years. And I'm here, I come every year, I'm here to tell you that we cannot at any cost stop this fight. We are all tired, as Philip says, and we are all somewhat concerned, but if those of us that are here stop coming, then the issue will ultimately and definitely disappear. So on behalf of both organizations, it's our honor to be here. I thank all of you for being here, and we have to keep the fight up. Congratulations to Philip and Pseka for continuing their good work, and I know the representatives from the Cyprus government know that both organizations stand by your side. Thank you.
And from Los Angeles, we have the American Hellenic Council. Michael, you want to come up and give your greeting? It's very important. One of the greatest things that we do is that we bring these organizations together from different parts of the country. Michael?
Thank you. Thanks, Philip. My name is Michael Galanakis. I'm from Los Angeles. I represent the American Hellenic Council. The American Hellenic Council was started as a result of the invasion of Cyprus in 1974. So we're proud to stand side by side with all these organizations that are here in defending our principles and hopefully having a quick and just resolution in the situation in Cyprus. The organization advocates on behalf of the promotion of peace in the Eastern Mediterranean, and we do our best out there to involve young people in our policy advocacy and try to help in the general cause. So thank you again.
Leon Andrews from the American Hellenic Institute.
And Kumbari with baptized Mike's younger brother, so I have a foot in both organizations. I have nothing prepared, obviously. AHI, we just returned from a trip to Cyprus and Greece, so we feel very much up to date on what's going on there. This is, I have been going to these conferences since the very beginning, and I can't stress enough how important it is to get in front of Congress, because we've seen how difficult it is to move the State Department under any administration. Those of us that remember when Jimmy Carter was elected, and we thought that was going to be the beginning of improvements, and every administration of every party has not been able to budge at the State Department level. So our only influence is right here in this building, and I just encourage everyone to continue the support of people that believe in the rule of law and the things that we do as well. Thank you.
Andy Zamanidis, ladies and gentlemen.
One of the great successes of Pseka, and Andy and Phil, was the legislation on the missing. Instead of, I think, talking, and it's a very important thing. It could bring a lot of confidence, and it's something that we owe the people who suffered 41 years ago. I will urge you all to talk about the legislation, on the missing. As Andy and Phil could tell you in greater detail, it was also led by Ellie Rengel, who happens to be the ranking Democrat on the Foreign Affairs Committee. So this is something where we could really make a difference. You know, we're talking to people who are our friends already and telling them, pressure Obama, great. You know, I don't think we're getting anything solid out of it. Let's ask for this missing legislation. Catherine has some great ideas too. Let's get something solid out of this, and if we can make something move on at least one issue, this conference will be a success. But it is also something that you've done before. So thank you.
When we passed the legislation on the mission, it concerned 5 American citizens. Money was given by our government, and of course through what contributed to that legislation is that it helped to make progress on the rest of the mission. At the time there were 1,619 missing people, and among them were 5 American citizens. All of you know that through the efforts, the DNA resulted in identifying Andrew Gatsapis of Detroit, Michigan, who was 17 years old and was holding the American passport in his hand when he was executed. So the other 4 American citizens have not been found, and the State Department knows that. And of course we have activated Elliot Engel, who has sent a letter recently to the State Department. And this is a point that I know President Anastasiadis and the Turkish Cypriot leader Akinci spoke about. But it gets back to the point that Turkey and the military zones where they would not allow any progress to be made, and so-called military zones. So we will continue to push that. That is a humanitarian issue, and we will continue to push it. So going back with the other organizations, Savat Civicus from New Jersey represents the Federation of Hellenic Societies and the Cyprus Treatment Fund, another humanitarian issue. Savas?
Well, unfortunately, we've been coming here for 41 years, and we have not seen real results. But I always say, just imagine where we would have been without our efforts. If we complain now about Turkey's intransigence, just imagine if we were not politically involved here and put some pressure to the administration to come out and do certain things. I'm not suggesting we can change the foreign policy of the United States, and I know Steve, Israel, and Chris Van Hollen have left, but unfortunately our foreign policy in Puffian terms sucks, and we need to do something about it. And it's up to us, the citizens, to really be involved, and we can only make a difference if we are involved. When it comes to the humanitarian issues of Cyprus, unfortunately, they are not only humanitarian, but they are social and political. Yes, there are mothers and fathers, husbands and wives that are still waiting to hear what happened to the fate of their loved ones. We were very successful, even though we were accused and criticized, Mr. Minister in Cyprus, for pushing for the legislation here. So damn if you do, damn if you don't. And it's unfortunate. So we pushed, we got the legislation through, it became an American law, and we were able to find out the whereabouts of Gatsapis and some others. Since then, unfortunately, not much has been done. Even though a new effort has been undertaken, many remains have been identified. But as you said earlier, Turkey, even for this simple issue, is still refusing to give information about the mass graves. They have done it for the location in the occupied Nicosia. But we have, the location and the relocation and everything else. But we have an obligation, as Philip said, to continue the fight until the sun of freedom shines all over Cyprus. And for those of us that are actively involved, has been very frustrating, because we keep pushing, keep spending thousands and thousands of dollars from our own money, and we have not seen real results. But we shouldn't get discouraged. We have an obligation to continue. We will continue, and we will try to make it a central and a focal point for this administration, which is going to be expiring soon, Andy and Dennis, because they have not done much for us, unfortunately, even though we have great promises. And we have to get ready for the new administration and the new composition of the State Department. So please stay involved, and remember that you can only make a difference if you are in the game. It's better to be in looking out than being out looking in. Thank you.
We all know that in 1974, Turkey invaded Cyprus, but I must tell you, my friends, that in recent years, London has been invaded by Turkey as well. Using the pretext, I'm a Kurdish, and applying these funny rules of which allow people to come and ask for political asylum, allowed many Turks, national Turks, not Kurdish, because originally it was only Kurdish people coming, obviously, in despair from the treatment they have from the Turkish army in their villages in eastern Turkey. But then, because nobody can identify who is a Turk and who is a Kurdish person, this allowed, through this loophole, the opportunity to many mainland Turks to actually come to London. They are actually estimated to be 800,000, if you can imagine these numbers. Okay, it's a big city, London, but if you take our community and the size of our community, it's a very big number. And despite the fact that these are not voters and they are not allowed to vote in national elections, although some of them over the years they try through various schemes to actually appear on electoral registers, they try to give the impression to members of parliament that they are actually voters, despite the fact they are not. And because of the numbers, they're giving this wrong impression to members of parliament that there is an influential element of a Turkish community there who can influence the politics of the country. So we have a massive task in front of us to actually obtain this. And also at the same time, due to the influx of so much money from Turkey, remember the lady from earlier on, one of the speakers mentioned that gifts are delivered and so many other things to members of the Congress, Senate here, to induce them and support Turkey. They do that exactly the same in London. And obviously we have to be alert all the time and fight this new development. As we said yesterday, okay, it's been 41 years, and some of us have been working on this issue for so many, many years. But we have to continue because we owe this to our country. We need to be focused, be more selective in what they do, and have a strategy which always follows with the current politics, the regional politics, which obviously vary from country to country. But we've got to be united. I know it's very difficult to do it in London because it's a larger community, and the bigger numbers we have, the more difficult it becomes. And I'm so pleased to see you here all united over the years. Every time I come here, I really feel so strong about our community here and the work you do, all of you. I don't want to name anybody because I'm sure I will miss somebody out. But you're doing a very great job. And I wish if you had a brother in London, Andy, to have him employed in the Federation there to actually take on what you do here, I'm sure we would have done more things.
Ladies and gentlemen, Alexis Galanos, the mayor of Famagusta.
I'd like to say a few things about something which we consider obvious, but is not so obvious. You are probably wondering, what do the mayors of the 9 occupied towns of Cyprus doing? Do we build, do we give Do we have a sewage system? Do we see our citizens every day? No. The mayor of Kythrea, the mayor of Kyrenia, the mayor of Lapithos, Karavas, Agathous, Lysi, Morphou, I think I mentioned, and of course Amochostos, they do two things. The one is projecting the Cyprus problem, not only the plight of their towns, but the Cyprus problem abroad for 41 years, systematically, and I would say as a labor of love. The other thing is keeping memories alive and trying, I say trying, to keep the young people close to the memories. The mayors are in reality ambassadors. They don't do the civil job that a mayor of a free town does. But imagine, after 41 years, to have towns with all the organizations and all the things they had 41 years before. We have our trade unions, we have our employers' associations, we have our welfare societies, we have our football teams, we have our athletic teams. Anorthosis played in the Champions League. Karavas this year was the champion in volleyball. We have the Rotaries, the Rotarians, we have the Lions, we have the Masons. Everything that functioned in our towns 41 years ago, it functions now in exile. Do you think that such a development could happen in any other part of the world? And this is why yesterday I said that yes, many bad things happen in Cyprus. There has been corruption, there has been exploitation, there have been stupid moves, but there have been good things. So we must not underrate ourselves, and we must be proud for some achievements. And I think that it is a very big achievement that we have maintained the social fabric of our towns alive, and we are able, after 41 years, to fight just for the next day, hoping that things will get better. This is a function of the refugee mayors and the refugee municipalities, and I think it is a labor of love. One last thing I'd like to mention, my friend Christopher here, because we started fighting in the United States together at the time of DIMITRIOS and the time of the embargo against Turkey. The surprising thing is that after having lifted the embargo on the sale of arms to Turkey, United States government has an embargo on the sales of arms. We are not going to make war to Turkey, definitely. On the contrary, we are a very key ally of the United States in the war against terrorism. I think it's very anachronistic, and any embargo that is already here in the States against sale of weapons or anything to Cyprus should be removed. And one of the things we have to mention to our friends in the Congress is removing any embargo of the United States government against Cyprus. There is no point of coming here and repeating how close our relations are and about human rights and about the wonderful tradition of human rights and democracy that we share with the people of the United States and with the United States, and still have, I don't know how, this kind of embargo against the Republic of Cyprus. Thank you very much.
In July 1974, Turkey invaded the Republic of Cyprus and unlawfully and brutally still occupies 1/3 of its territory. Thousands of people lost their lives. Hundreds are still missing. War brought the island to a standstill. The island was violently torn and cut into two ethnically cleansed regions. Greek Cypriots and Turkish Cypriots were violently uprooted from their homes. To all refugees, home is not just a word. Home is where you're born, where your roots lie. Home is the beloved coastline of your first childhood swim. Home is your house, your garden, your road, your village, a mountain nearby, your church. Home is the smile of your grandmother, days of playing with brothers and sisters. Home is memories of bygone days, happy and sad ones, of stories on winter nights and picnics on summer days. Home is where you're at peace, peace of mind, peace of heart.
Το σπίτι μου εμένα είναι στο Βαρόσι. Οι ρίζες μου είναι στο Βαρόσι.
Ο Μασούρας, το σπίτι μας.
Πάντα από την Κερίνια. Η μάμα μου από τον Καραβάν, αλλά που επαντρεύτηκε, κάτσαμε στην Κερίνια. Βέρα Κερίνια.
Το χωριό μου είναι καλύτερο, δηλαδή, γιατί επότιζα με χρώμα. Το χωριό μου είναι το καλύτερο, γιατί όλοι τα γιατρά μου επότιζα με χρώμα, και με το νερό.
Home is where you belong. When homes are taken away through acts of war, homes become nightmares and turn into obsessions. Haunted, empty, stolen homes torment people, families, communities, and nations. People lose their sense of balance. They lose track of their ancestors, their traditions, their background. Losing a home in such a traumatic way is losing your identity.
Το σπίτι μου για μένα είναι όλος ο κόσμος που λέγεται συνειδητό και υποσυνείδητο. Είναι όλος ο κόσμος που μας διαμόρφωσε και μας εκφράζει αυτή τη στιγμή. Αυτό που είμαι σήμερα στηρίζεται, έχει τις ρίζες του, τα θεμέλια του στο σπίτι μου. Και όταν λέω σπίτι μου, εννοώ και όλους τους χώρους που με διαμόρφωσαν. Είτε η γειτονιά, είτε το γυμνάσιο, είτε το θέατρο του Σόλο, όλα τα σπίτια των φίλων μου και των συγγενών μου, όλα αυτά είναι το σπίτι.
Home is something that, as I'm an architect, home is something that you have to work hard for and you have to build it. I mean, not build it with materials. You have to build it slowly through living it. You accumulate it. Home, for me, is an accumulation. It's not accumulation of a time, just passage of history. I think it's accumulation of the collected experiences.
Homes belong to people who own them, to generations which built them with love and care, to parents who provided for them, to grandparents who looked after orchards and gardens, and to children who planted trees and flowers.
Έναν πανέμορφον τόπο, με περιβόλια, γεμάτος μυρωδιές από λεμοναθούς και ό,τι φανταστείς στην άνοιξη, κοντά στη θάλασσα,